This is a demonstration of using SpatialIQ to do Borehole Desurvey. SpatialIQ is the base component in our suite of spatial products. SpatialIQ is hosted inside our product SurveyXL, GeologXL, and SpatialXL, where you can actually do spatial manipulation inside Excel itself. However, this is the standalone program which gives you the full power of our graphics engine. What we're going to do is we're going to load our boreholes from an Oracle database. They could come from any database. I've turned the layers off for effect, so I'm going to first of all show you that we're pulling the data from a nodes table, and these are the collars of our boreholes. So I'm going to show you how the connection works. If we go into the data here, we can see that we're using an Oracle connection. I've got my user ID and password and my database name. And there's the SQL query. I'm pulling all the data through just because it's easy for the system to handle all the data in that particular table. Okay, that shows you the table. Those are just our collars. So I'll turn them on so that we can see them in our map. And there we go. I used our theming facility to actually theme these collars on whether they are surface collars, underground shaft, etc. collars, and I colored them like that. So if you look over here, you can see there are our collars. What I've done, I've used the feature of our spatial products where we can project on the fly. If we look at our data in the nodes database, you'll see here that the node X and node Y columns, which I'm using to place these points, are actually in geographical coordinates. Okay. However, our scene, we are using the Hartebeershoek LO27 coordinates, which is the true coordinates of the area where we are working. In this layer for the nodes, I've specified that its projection is the geographic coordinate system, and I give the specification of what major and minor axes we are using. This data is projected then on the fly into the Hartebeershoek coordinate system, which we are using for our display. To get an idea of how our data looks, let's turn on Google Maps to see where it fits. There we go. We can see we're actually in the Vaal Reefs area, and it coordinates exactly. You can zoom in a little bit more here and get an idea of how our data looks. There we go. What we can do to get an idea, let's just change our properties of this Google layer here. And let's look rather at the satellite picture to see how that looks, to give us an idea of how this looks. There we go. And you can see here that we are near the Vaal River, and we're all on the one side of the Vaal River, and we can actually see the various points where they lay. Anyway, to continue further, we're going to be working underground now because we can actually do a survey of these points and to their borehole desurvey, etc., which will be in underground operations. I'll turn off our Google Maps for now. So what we do now to get the underground, let's get a side view, by the way, to have a look and see how our data looks from the side view. I'll just do that right now. We'll view along positive x-axis, and let's zoom in a bit here. I'll make sure we've zoomed to all our data. There we go. So we'll have a look here. Let's have a look and see how our data looks. So we see the surface nodes are in this darker blue. So if I turn them off here and on, there we go. We can see them. That's our surface position. These points here look like they are maybe incorrectly captured. Maybe their signs were wrong. Okay. There we go. That's our surface. And then these, let's just see. So I'll turn off surface for now. And that's underground. Makes sense. And this is shaft. There we go. There's shaft, which will be similar to surface. So that's all making sense. Gives you an idea of your data. And you can see the data is basically in layers, I see. And so on. Anyway, we'll view from the top again. And I'll zoom to our data. So how we do the desurveying is, I just select the Oracle table, which has got the surveys in, and this table there is called Well Direction Survey Points. Just give you we won't view the data, sorry, we'll just view the properties. And again, we'll see here, it's very simple. We just hit select star from well survey header points. Now those are just survey values. If I view the data, we'll just see we've basically got the MD column, which is basically the depth to the data, and then there's your deviation angle, and there's your azimuth. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to tell our system that this is survey data. And how you do that is you go into the properties. We have our Oracle query, and we're going to say how are we going to extract geometries from this data. I'll show you here. The geometry extraction which I set up was a Borehole Desurvey extraction. What I do is I mention which layer is the collar layer, and it is a nodes layer, which I loaded first. Then I specify which is the unique identifier for that layer. I've chosen node ID. I might be corrected, but in this particular example it does work. It seems to work. We might have to use that UWI column, but for now we'll use node ID. Then we specify which is the column which we're going to link to the collar from the data, the survey data, and that'll be that same node ID column in the survey data. The depth column is MD. The dip column is deviation angle. Now, I had to work out something here. It looks like the way the data was set that deviation angle of 0 means we're going straight down with the borehole, in which case the dip value for horizontal is 90 degrees and it'll increase up. So this seems to work with the data. I might be corrected, but that seems to work with the data. I might have to change some numbers here. Maybe it increases down or something. And then the direction column is azimuth, and I'm assuming that 0 will be, east will be 0. If it's not, there'll just be a bit of a rotation there, which we can just change in this as needed. And we're using degrees. Once I do that, and I save my layer, it will automatically desurvey these boreholes. I'll turn on the desurveyed geometries right now. They are turned on. Of course, they're underneath, so we don't see them. So let's just zoom in a bit here. There we can see them. There we go. These have been desurveyed on the fly. There we go. You can get an idea of how it's looking by rotating about one of them. We could choose a particular one, like that particular one there. I'll do a rotation, and we can see how it looks. Anyway. There's our data. This is an on-the-fly desurvey. So if we were to change any of the survey table data in Oracle, all we need to do is refresh this layer, and we will get the new desurvey done, and it'll come down to us here. The next trick to do, well, let me just do a side view first of all to get an idea of how it looks, and I'm going to just fit the data. There are some bit of anomalies, some stuff is going up. It might be to do with that direction column, but anyway, it looks like for most of them there is sense. What I can do is let's look at the surface ones. Those are blue. Here we go. So we can look at some surface boreholes. They do seem to point down, most of them, so there's something right about that which we can just check. But that's anyway how it works. We do surveying on the fly. What I can do now is I'm going to get stratigraphy as well displayed on our map, and to do that we get the stratigraphy data which comes from this well zone header table. Have a look at what that looks like. Data, select star from well zone header. Now we need to, this is just data, we need to tell the system how to get stratigraphy data out of it. Again, it's our geometry extraction, and we're going to extract segments off the surveyed table, because those are line segments, and we're going to say we link on the node ID. The depth column is the depth from is MD, and the depth to is max MD, and from that it will extract segments. Show you what it does. So what we'll do is I might as well just hide this one, turn that one on. There we can see our segments have been extracted on the fly off those surveyed points. What I did for fun is let it display the layer name along the segment, just for fun. We can turn that off. If I went in here I'm going to text labels, and I've chose layer name. I could put anything else in there if I wanted. Maybe I wanted to see who the owner was. There we can see the owners, and in my settings I told it to draw the text along the geometry. That's why they're going along like that. Put the text label back. Let's put it to layer name. It's probably a better example. So there we go. So we have on the fly desurveyed and categorized all these stratigraphy for these boreholes. What I can do now to show you an example of the filtering we can do, so I can go in here now and view data of my stratigraphy, and I might be interested in only seeing a particular layer. Maybe let's see what layer types you want to see. How about just seeing reef? Click on OK here, and if I move this away, I want to keep it open just to show you. All those little segments there are only reef segments. Okay, and it's VCR as we see. So I can very quickly select our data and only pick out the reef segments. As I filter in this grid, it will filter on the map. So what I can do is I'll turn off that reef filter, and there you go, it all comes back. I could filter on. Let's look at something else we could do. We could probably filter on. Let's see what's a good thing to filter on. If we want to look at a particular node, we can just type in its ID here. Say it's 1, 2, 3. And as you see there, there's only 1, 2, 4, 4, 7. There are those. Those are the particular nodes that start like that. You notice how they all disappeared as I typed it in, and when I clear it, what I can do now is I can select all these and I can zoom to them, and it'll zoom to them, and there they are, some over there, some over there, and some over there. If I want to make sure what I'm doing, I can zoom and highlight, and there we go. So that some down there, some down there. I've zoomed to that particular area very quickly. Turn off all my selections, and I'll turn off my filter, and everything else will come back. Here we go. You can just look at some of the data, and there you can see our stratigraphy on each of our on-the-fly desurveyed boreholes. I might have just got the direction field wrong, but that can be corrected. But we'll see. At least this gives you the idea that if we get the right parameters in, we can do this desurvey on the fly and work with it. This is the total borehole database I loaded, which, if we can get an idea, let's get an idea of how many nodes that will be. In fact, what I can do here is let's column chooser, we'll just choose the count column here so we can always see what we are working with. We'll put our total in, and there we get some totals in. There we go. And select is also fun to have in. Good. So we can get an idea of what's selected or what our totals are. So there we go. We can see we've got 3,300 nodes. It's collars. We have, let's see how many, what the name of this. So we have 28,000 survey points, and we have 47,000 stratigraphy data segments. But all that data can load very quickly and high speed and is desurveyed on the fly in our system. Let's drag those off for now. There we go. If I just want to see our nodes, I can turn off the layer, and there my nodes are. There's my desurvey. I can even turn off the node things if I want to just see the actual geometries, and there we go. If I want to inspect one of these, I can just bring up the inspector tool, and I can just drag around this one here, and there we go. It tells me what it is. There's its data, and so on. And to just confirm that I'm on the right one, I can click there, it'll highlight it. So I see it is that one in yellow. There it is. It's the one I inspected. Here's all its data. Various data we can look at on this. We can get its length, 20 meters. and so on, and so on. Okay, very good. So that really is our demonstration of loading this data on the fly. One point I didn't mention is I noticed in the nodes table, if we look here at the, I want to look at the data, so our system is totally flexible. You won't need to change your data source to fit in with the system. You'll notice here that the node Y, the latitude values, find them, are positive. They actually should be negative because we're in the southern hemisphere. But we don't have to worry about that, because what I could do is I could, on the layer loader, I could specify an input transform. And I see it here, I want to scale the Y by -1 when I load it, so that we don't have to change the source. And that's what I did. And as I said, I made the projection geographic, and it automatically converted the latitude to be properly negative like it should be, and it transformed it on the fly into Hartobeershoek coordinates. There we go, our Hartobeershoek coordinates there, with all its parameters. And as I move my cursor, you can see their coordinates at the bottom there, at the bottom over here. The X and Y's will be in the Hartobeershoek coordinate system. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how we can do Borehole Desurvey on the fly from an Oracle database in the SpatialIQ program.